One, here we are. Special segment today. Live, am I the asshole? Except for we're adding a little twist to it this time. We're adding real people in. We have the Victory Lap fellas here. Whitfield and AO, my boys. We've been doing a lot of stuff together. You guys have probably seen the clips on the page. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing well. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So it's the first time on my show this time, which I'm excited about. But we're going to get down to brass tacks real quick. We're going to find out which one of us is an asshole. Rules are pretty simple. It's the same as the Reddit ones. If you've tuned into my show and you've seen the way we do it there, we just take the information as we have it, and we determine by jury here which one of us is the asshole based on the information we have. But it's a live debate, so it adds a whole new interesting aspect to it. So I think I'll start us off right now, and you guys can tell me if I'm right or wrong. This is a hot topic. It's something that I bring up a lot in regular conversations, but I need other people to weigh in on this because a much more real situation hit me a couple weeks ago. I was out at dinner. I'll set the stage like this. I'm out at dinner. I'm with two friends. We went to a sushi restaurant in West Hollywood. We walk up to the door, and no one's at the hostess thing. No one's, waiting on us or whatever. And we're just like, all right, so like, where do we go? Should we go sit over here? So we start walking to like one of the rooms just to go like seat ourselves. Like, I guess it's like a seat yourself type of thing. And the waitress comes up and is all like pissed at us. And she was like, no, like I have to seat you. I'm like, okay, well, fine. Like, where can we go? And she like leads us over to like this shitty back area where like no one's sitting, and not a good start. And I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I'm pretty particular about my restaurant's seating arrangements. And we get there, and it's fine. I mean, it takes her like by the way, there's like 13 people in the restaurant. It's a huge restaurant, and she takes fucking forever to come over and like just take our drink orders. Like, didn't bring over like napkins or waters or anything, and wasn't like, hey, I'll be right with you. Just like bad service. Okay. And it's fine. I like the place. I've been here a bunch of times, never really had an issue in the past, but she is just really like slow to get our stuff. Like, our food took forever. Never really checked on us. Just was a bad waitress. Let's just put it like that. And it was a really long dinner just because she never came to check in on us. And like, it was just annoying. Like, I had to ask for the check. I had to go up to like the front thing and like ask for a check because like we were so far away, no one could really see us. I couldn't like wave my hand to anybody. And it was just a bad overall experience. And we get the checks to come around, and I'm like, boy, I don't really want to tip very much, if at all. Like, that was horrible, horrible service. And my whole thought process is tipping is meant to be, a little add-on, right? Like, oh, you did a nice job. Here's a little bit of extra money for you. And when I brought that up, one of my friends at the table was like, no, dude, you absolutely have to tip 20% minimum. You have to tip. And I was like, well, that kind of defeats the purpose of tipping. If we're just tipping everything, that just seems weird to me. And we got in a little bit of a debate. I ended up tipping, I think, like 10% or something. So it wasn't a great tip, but I did because I'm not I felt I'd feel bad if I wouldn't have tipped. But I don't know. Like, my friend was just like, that's an asshole move. You should have tipped 20%. So it's been weighing on my mind. And this is not the first time something similar has come up. Am I the asshole for not tipping the standard 20% when the service was bad?
No, I think not at all. Like, I think this whole freaking thing of like tipping because they get paid is like, you still have to do your job. So like you not doing your job, like you don't get a tip. And like the whole fucking thing, oh, you don't know, another customer could have been mean to her. Like, hey, but that wasn't me. Like, like Matt, if I'm mean to you today, that doesn't mean that you can fucking call your mom a bitch because I was mean to you. Like, that's literally what it compares to. Like, just because one customer was bad to her doesn't mean that she has to be just a complete. I'm not saying that's what happened, but I completely don't think you're the asshole at all.
What was your total bill? Do you remember?
Oh, I don't remember. I think the
Or do you
total,
remember, like,
I
what
don't remember the
the
total was. I
yeah.
think I ended up paying like 30 something, like 35, something like that. I mean,
You gave her like a $34 tip. Like, $3.
Yeah, I mean, it was not a good tip. But that's the thing, though, is like I felt like a dick too, because I'm like, well, I don't want to, but at the same time, I didn't get good service. In fact, it wasn't just not good service; it sucked. It was like horrible service. She did a really
Yeah.
bad job,
Right.
and like wasn't nice to us, like wasn't apologetic at all. And I just feel like there's like this thing today where everyone's like, no, you have to fucking tip. Where in reality, America's like the only country that tips a lot, and it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, and that's where I just because I used to like when I was in like I used to be an asshole when it came to tipping. Like when I was younger, didn't have that much money at all. Like I would just not. I would just like as shitty as it is, I just would not tip sometimes. Like if I didn't have enough money, which is shitty. Like admittedly, hand up, I was shitty there. But it was if anybody would ever have shitty service towards me or like somehow whatever the case is, like I don't know how an argument would start, but if there was an argument or a misunderstanding or it just took for fucking effort to get our shit and we were just never their priority, I would have no problem not tipping at all. But at the same time, the way that the United States, as you mentioned, the United States restaurants are set up is the consumers are stuck paying the vast majority of these waiters and waitresses livelihoods, which is completely ass backwards in my opinion. That's what needs to be fixed is these people need to be paid by the restaurants in full and tipping should just go the fuck away. Consumers should not be left accountable to pay a fucking single mom and her pay for her 3 kids to like survive. Like that's should not be on the customer.
Yeah, you didn't hire her.
I have no relationship with this lady at all. Like
I didn't pick
she
her.
wants to be a bitch.
Yeah.
Honestly, I could give a shit less. Like if you want to be a bitch to me, as long as I get my food and my order's not fucked up, it really won't bother me that much. Just don't expect a fucking dime from me. Like it's simple as that. But so in short, you are not the asshole in my opinion. I've had that stance for a long time on tipping. I think it's fucking stupid, but
Well,
at the same time, with how it's set up, I like now that like actually have millions now as I do, I will always tip to 20%. Like unless she's like going out of her way to piss me off and like if I will like have the balls be like, hey, can you please like speed this up? Like we're trying to get out of here. And if she like still dragging her feet, then
to that point, Elena, you know, there's waitresses that like they see your water is empty and you've asked 3 times, but you pissed them off a little bit.
Yeah.
So they specifically walk by your table.
If you do that, then fuck off. Like you're just playing like
you're horrible. Child. You're a horrible server. Like you can't.
Right.
Look, you're in the service industry. You're here, and I hate being this guy, but like you're here to make my experience good. And by the way, if you're a good server, like I've been to, there's some restaurants around here in Hollywood where you go to and the guy has the whole fucking specials and stuff memorized. He's really good at, you know, making sure that everyone's comfortable, that you got your waters and your drinks quickly and do you need anything, whatever. And he knows everything about the menu. Like, yeah, you're going to get a good tip, like 30% tip on that. Like, great job. You're doing a wonderful job. But on the other side of things, I just feel like there's this negative connotation now with, if you don't tip the full 20%, you're a fucking dickhead. And the other thing it brings up too is I feel like I see more and more restaurants today that have this weird like self-serve type of thing, or you go up and order and you take a number and then they come and deliver your thing, and I'll get the receipt. Like it happened to me today at lunch. They gave me the receipt and it's like add a tip, and I'm like, well, fucking no. I'm not adding a tip.
When you go get your takeout and they're like, do you want to add a tip? No, you handed me a bag. Who's getting tipped here? Like you're not getting a tip for me handing you my fucking credit card. You handing me it back and handing me the food. Like there's no tip involved there.
Okay, but what about like if you grab a number and then they just bring your food to your table? Do you tip?
Yeah, no, I was saying that that's similar there. I think that's you grab a number. So they literally just bring you your food and that's it. Like they're not actually waiting on.
They're not waiting on you.
Yeah, no, I don't think that warrants a tip at all either. And shit, what was I gonna just continue? Let me try to think what I was gonna say.
Well, so we all agree that the tipping customs need to change a little bit. I don't think it makes you a fucking dickhead if you're using the rules the way they're intended to be used. Correct,
100%. So as it currently stands in the United States with the tipping process being on the client for them to like make a livable wage, do you think that, like, do you view like a waitress position as like, should that be, that's what makes it even harder, because like this is like maybe one of the two jobs they have to like actually survive, or like their only job where it's literally paying all their bills. And that's like where it gets in the gray area for me, because you're essentially like cutting their like weekly check, whatever. I know it's only a couple bucks here and there, but like do you view that as like a livable wage, or a livable wage earning as a waitress? Like, is that a thing in your head, or is
Yeah,
that
I
just
mean,
like
well, look, I live in a city where like that's the 90% of what actors do is they're waitresses and bartenders and waiters on the weekend. So, or during the week when they're not acting, which is 90% of the time. So they're trying to live on that, and I get that. But like on the other side of the spectrum, I went to like a nice dinner last week. I ended up tipping like it was a large bill. I ended up tipping like $45, something like that. And I'm like, well, that guy just made $45, and it was over the course of like an hour and a half. Like that's really good on top of what he's getting paid hourly. So like, but then again, it's a nicer restaurant. So my whole opinion is restaurants, especially these mid-tier ones, should be fucking paying their employees a reasonable wage. So I don't even have to worry about it. I don't know why the onus is on us to have to deal with that.
exactly.
But if it's like a nicer spot, like, yeah, I mean, you can make really good money at some of these nice places. Especially in a big city like this. So
and
I don't really see a problem with it.
like yeah, and deserve, like, and if someone's great, I think if you're great at anything, no matter what it is, obviously to a certain extent, but you will get paid well at what you do. So like you said, the guy that knows all the specials, like he's gonna get a good tip 95% of the time, or 90 whatever percent of the time. Some people are gonna, like, the poor kids are gonna stiff him or whatever, but that
Well,
happens.
I also think like, or finish your thought.
Those though, I think those posts that you see sometimes on social media, like where the like I feel like it's usually like a stuck up waitress is like, they feel entitled to a tip every single time. That makes me like hate the entire group of them, thinking they're all like that when I know they're not. But it just like gives them a bad rap on like everyone's entitled to it, when you got to still do your job well to just avoid that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a service industry. It's a tough industry to be in, but I mean, you got to still give it a good effort. And it feels like such an, I just feel pretentious sometimes, like dealing with these types of situations. But at the end of the day, like, you know, you got to do what you got to do. And if you're not doing a good fucking job, I'm not entitled to tip you if you're not going to fucking put a good effort forward.
Yeah.
But okay, good. So I think consensus is good. I'm not a dick. Everyone else watching out there, get your fucking shit together. If you do disagree with me, you're just wrong, and that's just the way it is.
I wish one of us were just like a career waiter and just had a different.
That was our job right now, so like we had to. Disagree.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, if there's any waiters or waitresses listening, they're probably fuming. They're like, "I deserve it no matter what."
Yeah. Blood boiling.
Yeah. But let's. Who's got one next? Who wants to go next?
You want to go next? All right.
Yeah. All right. So this is a while back. All right. So I was in college, to preface it. So I did not have like the millions I do now. Let's just get that out there. I went to go get a haircut and this was in Bloomington. Obviously, that's where I went to school. So I didn't have a barber down there. So I was forced to go to the way too nice of a place to get a haircut, Great Clips. And there was this lady working there.
Matt, unplug your mic and plug it back in real quick.
So the lady that no.
It's not better?
Oh no, now it is. Now it is.
Okay, it's better.
So this lady is there. I don't know, like, are you guys pretty picky about how your hair is cut now? Like, I would never go to a Great Clips. Like,
yeah, I am.
I'm pretty. I mean, not in quarantine times. I'll take a haircut from a chipmunk if I have to.
I might as well fucking cut my own hair. But so I like didn't want it to suck, but I was just like praying they wouldn't fuck it up, because the haircut's only like $15-20, whatever it is. So I go up there, and no one, like, if there's someone that looks like they know how to cut hair or something, then I'll like wait for them. That's how like picky I am about it. But none of them stood out to me. So I was like, okay, whoever's up next, I'm going with them. Turns out to be this pregnant lady, and she looked like she was like 8 months pregnant, maybe 7 months pregnant, or pretty far along. Like I said, I don't fucking know how to judge that. But I'm sitting there, and I'm like, hey, can I? This is like when the like the comb over phase were just starting, like back then, like the undercut was a big thing. So I told her I wanted an undercut. Do you guys know that haircut? Like it's kind of like what I forget who had it. Like Bryce Harper used to rock it. Like it's just like a fade, like but both sides are like cut up like equally, and it's not like comb over type. So told her I wanted that, and I'm just like sitting there. And like what I don't like to look at them cutting it because it just like gives me like anxiety kind of. And I'm just like looking at my phone and shit. Like okay, please don't fuck this up. Because don't you like it's the most awkward thing critiquing the person cutting your hair. Like dude,
like they fucked it up and they ask you like, is this okay? And it's so hard to tell them like, no, can you cut this?
And like even in the middle of it, it's even worse. Like when they're
I'm sweating the whole time I'm getting. I have to ask them to turn me away from the mirror, so I'm not just staring at them. Because 90% of the time I'm like, they're not doing it right, and then at the end they'll tie it all together and make it look nice.
My blood, like my body temperature will start increasing. Like, dude, this haircut fucking sucks. Like almost every single time.
Same.
So I'm just like, I'm literally looking because I had no faith in this chick for whatever reason, and she's cutting my hair, and it gets to the end, and I look up, and dude, it was like I think it is the worst haircut I've had today, like that I remember, and I was like, wait, what is this? I literally said, I was like, this is not a haircut. And she was like. And she like just kind of stood there. There's like some awkward silence, and she clearly did not know what an undercut was, or just like forgot or whatever the fuck it was. And I was just like, whoa, what is that? And I was like, that's not an undercut. And then like the long awkward pause. She goes, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And I was like, yeah. So what the heck? And she goes, you don't have to pay for it or anything. It's fine. And I was just like the most awkward thing of all time, bro. I'm just like sitting there like, I'm like, holy fuck. Like this haircut.
Wait. She said you don't have to pay for anything. It's fine.
Yeah. And then it's my turn to give the awkward silence. Like, I was like, dude, do I pay? Like, do I not?
Right.
So I end up, I was sitting there. I was like, it was so awkward for me. Like I just had to get the fuck out of there. So I did not pay her, did not tip her. And I don't know how long it took, but I literally just walked out of there like I stole a haircut essentially. And this lady was like 7-8 months pregnant. Felt bad, but I mean she fucked my shit up, bro.
Well, do you happen to have a picture of it?
I don't. I do not.
Fuck, I would love to see. If you haven't, you can send me to it later. I could even like edit it in. But like just knowing how bad it was, obviously I think makes a difference here.
Your shit's crackling.
Fuck.
All right, since Matt's gonna unplug his mic, I'll go first. I honestly don't think you're the asshole here because I understand whatever she's pregnant, but for her to fuck it up so badly that she said you don't have to pay, like that's like an artist looking at a painting and being like, I'd give this away for free. I know how badly I fucked this up. Like, I think for her to admit it, which I've gotten fucked up haircuts too. And back when I was like a kid or something, and like look at pictures now, I'm like, what the fuck? And like, that means that the person cut my hair and was like handing me back to my mom, like, this looks fucking good. And it's like, there's no fucking. So like, for her to actually think this is so bad, you do not have to pay. Maybe she wanted to fuck you or something. I don't know, but I would say.
I mean, that's also, by the way, you have to understand, that's also like a typical human response. Like in an awkward situation, humans kind of fucking panic. And so she's just probably saying like, oh, fuck, you don't have to pay. Like doesn't know how to fill the awkward silence. And so maybe that was just the first thing that came out of her mouth. But like, I think at the end of the day, it's tough for me. It would be tough for me to call you an asshole for doing that how old were you? You said you were in college?
Yeah, I was like 20. I might have been 20, 21, something like that.
Haircuts at these places too are like, I mean, on one hand, you have to kind of know what you're getting yourself into. But on the other hand, my pet peeve with those types of places like a Great Clips or a Sport Clips or a Fantastic Sam's or something like that is they don't ever consult you during the fucking haircut. Like they just act like they're fucking pros and know exactly how they want it cut, and they've been your barber for 20 fucking years. And I hate that because that kind of thing's happened to me before. When I first got out of school and moved out here, I went to some cheap place on Sunset, and this woman just was like shaking as it was the worst fucking haircut I've ever had. it was like I had to go back and fix it myself. It was fucking awful. She didn't blend anything. But, I was turned around for the whole time. So you feel I'm doing, shit. And I'm like, whatever. She knows what she's doing because she works at a fucking haircut place. And then she turns me around and I was like, this is fucked up beyond belief. I don't even know what to say. I didn't know what to say because it was like so surprising because she turned me around and it was fucked up. I ended up paying because it was like $15 or something. Like I was like, whatever. I don't fucking care. I'm rich as fuck. But
yeah, exactly.
I can understand. I don't think that makes you an asshole for not wanting to pay. I mean, if there's any women who actually listen to this show, a woman's haircut is much different from a man's. There's much more margin for error in a woman's haircut, in my opinion. Maybe I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But men, if we like it really short, which I do, and I'm sure she'd probably cut it really short on your sides too, you're walking on eggshells with every fucking thing. You better know what the fuck you're doing. And if you fuck someone's hair up, it's way more noticeable. You're gonna have to expect them asking for a refund, especially if she's not talking to you the whole way through or anything like that.
Yeah, and the thing was, like, it was just so not what I asked for. Like, and the thing, like, there's if someone fucks it up, it's like, let's say you ask for like a comb over fade, and they like clearly have your hair combed over, but the fade's just terrible, and like they cut the top way too short when you told them not to. Like, there is where it's like there's discretion involved on like how bad is it. Like, oh, I didn't know that's what you meant. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like where it's like a completely different haircut.
I mean, if you showed her a
like
picture and she cut it like the picture, and then you're like, no, I don't fucking like this. I don't want the haircut. Then you're an asshole. But like,
yeah,
I mean, it's kind of similar to the thing. You're paying for a service. You're not really getting the service you paid for, or you would have paid for. So, I mean, I don't really think you're entitled to have to pay that person. Although some people, I mean, I guarantee you, the people who disagreed with mine on the no tipping thing would probably say you're an asshole on this too. Be like, no, you have to pay them no matter what. That's their fucking job and their livelihood, whatever the fuck. But we got to hold the line somewhere. Like, if you're gonna give me a bad service, I can't really be expected to pay at least full price for it,
And so I think the bigger question in life, because if I don't say anything and just like, then she's not going to say, oh, I fucked that up. So it comes down to like, am I the asshole for calling, like, are you an asshole for calling your barber out on a shitty haircut? A little like side piece to that. I say no.
I don't. Yeah, I mean,
that's one of the most awkward conversations. Like, dude, this is not how I want it. Like, even
that's
in the
like,
middle of it at the end.
I mean, I think that's just like Matt said, though. I think it literally is going to correlate. Like, people who think like if you had the worst service ever, and even if you tip not 20%, people think you're an asshole. So I think it correlates. Like, the people who think that will probably also think that like you're an asshole in this situation. People that probably agree that, which we all thought that Matt wasn't the asshole, probably agree that you weren't the asshole. Like I said, if you showed her a picture or something, or you told her exactly what you wanted, like, I want it faded with, and everyone's like, yeah, that's exactly what she gave you, and you're like, oh, I just didn't like it.
Exactly right. Yeah. Like,
yeah. Then you're the asshole. But if like she notices how bad it is too, because like honestly, like most of the time, like I feel like they could kind of fix it if they barely fucked up. You know what I mean? For them to like fuck it up super badly, instead of her just being like, oh, I can touch it up on the side or something like that to make it look better. Like for her to just be like, yeah, it's nothing. Like that's probably the way it's like, okay.
Yeah, if they barely fucked it up, that's one thing. That's why I was asking for a picture. But if they like massively fucked it up to the point where like you have to go somewhere else,
No,
or, like, she can't.
Now that he says this though, I kind of remember it like it was
more of a comb over fade than an under. Like it was so short at the top.
Bad.
Like there wasn't.
It was pretty bad.
It was just like, dude, what is this?
Yeah, I mean, if it got to the point where she took too much off and can't fix it, then yeah, of course you're not the asshole. But if it's like something that's like, oh, she fucked up the fade a little bit or something, or maybe she didn't take enough off, that's a whole nother thing. But it doesn't sound like that's what it was. And if that's the case, yeah, I don't think there's a realm in where you're an asshole here. I mean, it's just a bad situation for everyone. I mean, you didn't get what you wanted. She's not getting like a tip or anything for it. It sucks.
Yeah, and they you can't expect a good fade going into a Great Clips or a Sports Clips, whatever. Like that's just absurd to think you're going to get a good fade there. So
100%.
I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting something,
just a trim, like something to just clean it up.
Yeah,
just decent.
Yeah. Well, so consensus here, not the asshole. Yeah.
Yeah, I say no. I would say you're like, given your position, also being in college and broke, like definitely makes you not the asshole too. Like I think that factors into it 100%.
Yeah,
So I would say no.
definitely agree.
Awesome. All right, Michael, you're the
All right.
last one. Let's
All right.
move on. Let's see what you got.
So this isn't my specific story. I actually saw one of my friends post this on her Instagram story like literally 2 weeks ago, and I thought it was fucking hilarious. So I'm gonna tell this story. So she goes on a date with this guy. First time they ever meet. Okay. They go to like a nice, I don't know if it was like how fancy, kind of fancy restaurant, you know, probably 20, 30 bucks a plate. So they go out to eat. Sounds like they didn't really get along that well. Well, got along, but it was like awkward, blah, blah, blah. This guy's definitely thinking like, okay, tonight we're gonna fuck after I take you out, blah, blah,
Wait, is this a first date?
First date.
Okay.
Okay. First date. So I don't know if the text messages led up. All I'm seeing all of this is on Instagram. So text messages leading up to it, she could have been like this, and then this guy's totally different. So she's like, yeah, no. So they go out with the date. She's like, basically like, can you just take me home after? So the guy takes her home. Then she like finds out from a friend of a friend that this guy was like, yeah, we didn't even fuck. I'm so pissed off. Like, what the fuck was she thinking, kind of thing. 2 days later, he Venmo requests for half of the bill of the restaurant they ate at.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Bro, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah. So it like, then she like woke up to a notification on Venmo, and it was like for the other night, half the bill. And it was like whatever exactly cut down the half was.
Did she pay him?
So no, she declined it. So I guess, I mean, do you think?
Okay, so now we're saying, is she the asshole for declining it?
Well, I'm kind of saying, yeah, like, is she at all wrong?
This is a good one. Yeah.
Is she at all at like obviously the guy, like, I think you know, going about this that way, first off, is an asshole at that part. Like, I think everyone can agree on that. But then it's also like, we don't really know the text messages leading up, so who knows what she could have said. But maybe she said something, because unless this guy's like a total D-bag, like, you got to be the worst type of person. If it was just like, okay, we got connected through a friend of a friend, this is our first date, and this guy's just like completely pissed off and all the text messages were completely normal, like that, then you're like, okay, what the fuck's wrong with you, dude? But who knows? But yeah, basically, like, do you think at all she's at fault? And let's preface it like, they weren't, so this is just me saying this, but they weren't like agreeing like, oh yeah, we're for sure gonna hook up, but like, they were quite flirty together. So we'll preface that, and then.
Well, this brings up the bigger issue, which is the bigger debate, which is, should the guy always pay on a date, especially a first date? Because after that, I think whatever, if you've been dating for a little while, you can split the check. Maybe she pays sometimes, maybe you do. But I mean, obviously that guy's a dickhead for, if that's the reason why he's requesting the money, dick face. But I mean, for her to expect him to just have paid the whole thing anyways, I mean, that's a conversation we need to have. I mean, in my opinion, if it's a first date, just in my experience, guy usually pays first. I'm happy to do it. It doesn't matter to me. But we live in times today where, you know, independent women want to be doing things on their own. They feel weird about a guy paying, especially if they don't know him very well.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. Like, what are we all what's the general consensus among men and women, like, going into first dates now? Like, what are we supposed to expect? Because, I mean, obviously he's a dick for requesting it if that's the only reason he's not getting laid. All right, whatever, pussy. You're a fucking loser, whatever. But can she really be surprised? I mean, if it's just a Venmo request for splitting dinner on a first date, I mean, I don't think that's that crazy. I mean, on its own.
Well, that's why.
Wait, have they talked since he dropped her off in that Venmo request? Do we know that? Like, literally texted at all? Anything?
I don't think they did. I think
that's funnier.
I think like the first communication they had after the situation was she got a notification And then it was like, I haven't talked to this dude for 4 days.
Yeah.
And he,
Well,
like,
here's the
hasn't
thing.
contacted
So if you're gonna, so here's going back to counterpoint to my argument. I'm arguing with myself here. But if you are splitting the bill, you can't Venmo request 4 days later. That's not how this works. You split it at dinner while you're there.
Yeah.
That's the time you're gonna split the bill. You can't fucking send a request, because I'd be the same way. If she offered to pay for the fucking bill and she gives him the thing and then sends me a request 4 days later and she's like insisted on paying, and then I get a Venmo request for half the bill 4 days later, I'm like, no, fuck you. I'm not, no. What?
Right.
That's just bizarre.
It is like, it does always suck thinking like it's even if you like, it doesn't matter if we had to split it or not, but then them hitting it with you unexpectedly a couple days later, no matter what it is, it always sucks. You're like, damn, I thought that was like
Yeah.
on them. Like, what the fuck? Like,
Like,
it just sucks.
your
Like
boys-
an unforeseen expense hitting you like a few days later always
Like
sucks.
your boys are like, I'm gonna get some shots for everyone. Then 3
Yeah, they're
days
like,
later,
hey,
it's like
man,
Venmo request for 30 for what you guys did at the bar.
Those shots ran it up.
Yeah, but okay. So here's the thing though. So I think like nowadays, like Matt, you were saying, it's so wild with the dating world. Like for me, I think the guy always pays, but you fall into these girls who. So you might go on 3 straight dates, and all 3 of these girls are like, "I'm an independent ass bitch. I'm not making no man pay for my thing. You ain't getting this pussy if he's like all that bullshit." So then you get like fucking offended if you're like, "Why did I just offer to pay for her? Then like, fuck it. I should have just gone with the flow." But I think it matters also the restaurant you choose. If you're taking a girl out to a nice restaurant, I guarantee 9 times out of 10 the girl's not going to say that. She's probably going into it expecting you to pay, expecting you to be a gentleman, I guess. Like, but if you're just going to like fucking almost like one of those like places where it's like not sit down, but it's kind of sit down. It's
Like
like,
Applebee's. No, I'm kidding.
yeah, Applebee's.
TGI Fridays.
Friday. Yeah, dude, that's what I was gonna say.
Steak and
Friday.
Shake.
But
Steak
So, like-
and shake. Yeah.
so it's like, yeah, Steak and Shake's a perfect one because you got to walk up and pay. So it's like, well, they gave us 2
You like
bills.
kind of
Like,
nudge her up a little bit first.
yeah. So I just like, I think it's so, I don't know. I feel like it's, you got to like almost know who you're going for. But again, I think like, I'm going into the date, especially if I take her to a fairly nice restaurant, knowing that I'm gonna pay. And essentially, if I Venmo request her 4 days later, essentially I just Venmo requested her because I didn't get no ass. So like I almost tried paying for my pussy. So it's like,
Yeah.
like why do you need this money back?
Yeah, this guy's a fucking loser. And here's the other thing too, dude. You don't take a girl to any or anyone out there. Women, don't go to a fucking nice ass place or even a mildly nice place. First date should always be drinks somewhere. And if you want to order like a pizza for the table, that's fine. But it
Good
keeps
call.
it cheap for everyone. It keeps it so that way if you do pay for the bill and she's uncomfortable with it and she doesn't want to say anything, she doesn't feel that bad because it's a $50 bill, whatever the fuck. If you keep it under $100, go to a semi-nice, trendy drink spot. That's all you really need for the first date. You're going to suss each other out anyways. Then this problem never arises. But if you go to a really nice place or even a mildly nice place on the first date, that sets a weird precedent, A, and B, leaves room for all sorts of weird situations like this where shit can get fucked up.
I think that's a good. I think drinks is the perfect thing because if she wants to get her own drink, she can literally walk up to the bar and get her own drink, or say like it's the easiest way for you to determine if this chick's gonna be offended if I try to pay, or she's
Yeah.
expecting me with how to. Which
Yeah,
I'm
I always
completely fine
try to
with.
go to a
It's just-
trendy drink spot for a first date because then exactly like what you said. Like there's been times where I've been out and I got the first round or whatever, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go grab the next round," and I'm like, "Okay, that's nice." Well, clearly she wants to like be paying here, and that's totally fine. I mean, I have no problem with that,
Right.
but going to a super nice place like a TGI Fridays or a Steak and Shake or Applebee's, like
Yeah,
don't break the
going-
bank if you don't have
going
to.
all out. Right. Like, come on, let's get waters here. Like,
Yeah.
So what's
She orders a
so
Coke.
who are we evaluating here? Him or her? I mean, him
guess, like,
obviously the
her.
asshole.
Yeah. I was
Yeah,
gonna
him
say,
obviously
I
the
think-
asshole. I don't think
I
that's the question. Her?
Yes,
No, I don't think you can
agree.
call her an asshole for declining that. I mean, that's such a bizarre move on his part, and petty, by the way, too. Such a bitch move.
I think
we know for a fact that he was like, dude, fuck that. She didn't give me any.
I don't know if it was like
I-
ass, but it was like
Yeah.
I heard him like
he was expecting more.
he didn't. I think it was like he. It was kind of like one of those things like he thought the date would go, I guess, better. Kind of thing.
Right.
So I don't know if it's specifically like I didn't get any ass or like she hasn't texted me again type of like it could have been any of those variables
Yeah.
of like.
Well, hey, dude, be better at dating. How about that? Be a better date.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Be charming.
Conversation must have been terrible.
Yeah, it must have been fucking awful.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. If you send, unless it's like one of your boys that like you like literally like in your close friends, you cannot get away with sending someone a Venmo request 4 days later, no matter what the fuck the situation is. Like,
dude, I totally agree.
Especially in the world nowadays, you don't think that shit going on Instagram, Snapchat, telling every single girl.
Yeah,
in the
dude,
city,
that's
like,
you got to know that you're gonna get put on blast for that. And I don't like Venmoing people for anything really. It's like my mentality is like, what goes around comes around. Like I'll get this now, even if I'm with my boys. Like I'm gonna get this now. You'll get something later, whatever. Like we'll fucking figure it out. Like I hate hate sending Venmos. Like when someone will send me a Venmo request for $10 for like pizza because I had a piece of pizza at a party. Like go fuck yourself, dude. Like what are you doing?
Yeah.
What'll even out
See,
later.
I love that mindset, but there's those few friends that find a way to like never contribute really, and like so you're just going deeper and deeper in the hole, and you like kind of try to get it when you can type thing.
Yeah, but I don't like those people, so I'm not going to be nice to you. So yeah, I mean, if you're going to do that, then I'll be petty too, and I too can play at that game. But I'm usually not friends with those people to begin with.
Yeah. No,
I think it's always like a like the precedent's set before kind of thing. Like you know what I mean? Like, hey, we're gonna get pizza. You cool with that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll throw it. Not like a. I didn't know you guys were getting pizza. I came over. I had one slice, and then tomorrow you Venmo request me $10, or like. You know, you brought a case of beer and I had 2 beers. Like if you go in, like, I think it's like most of the time it's like, hey, I'm gonna bring a case like for us. Like, okay, we'll split it, the thing, or like, hey, you got. But like, I agree with Matt. I kind of agree with both of you on that. But I just think like the precedent is normally set, and like you said, like you know which people are which way.
Right.
And it's like if I offer to get the Uber, it's not like I want to split it with you. I'm telling you guys like, hey, I'm gonna get this Uber. You guys get the net, like that type of thing. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, there's also been situations. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, there's also been situations for me where like I've been out and about, and then like one of my buddies was like, "Oh, we're getting a table at this club or whatever." I was like, "I don't really want to go," but like everyone else was going. I was like, "Fine." He's like, "No, just come on over. We got a table." I'm like, "All right, sure, fine. We can get the VIP thing and go to the table." So we go to the table and I hang out for a little bit. I had 1 Red Bull, and then he Venmo requests me for like half of the cost of the whole table the next day. And I was like, dude, that's not how this works. I'm not paying you because I was forced to go to this club that I didn't want to go to and pay for some of your table that you wanted to get. Did not consult me on that.
Me and Alina almost the same thing. We were out in Chicago with my sister and some of her friends were like, we're going to get a table tonight. It's your only time you guys are in the city. You guys
we're going to show you a good time.
We're going to show you a great time. We're like, oh, fuck yeah. Like in our heads going out, we're like, we're not going to get a fucking table. We're just going to go to some regular bar, you know, drink, blah, blah,
yeah.
blah. These guys are the ones who like say it. And we're just like, oh, no, we're good. He's like, no, we got you type of stuff. Literally like they get the table like 40 minutes into like, basically we all pour our first drink. They're like, hey guys, we're actually going to split this with everyone. I'm like, wait, what? I would never have fucking came. Are you kidding me?
That's so annoying.
It was like $100, $200, like whatever it was. But like an absurd amount.
$100, $200? That's not very much.
It was just like
no, well, dude, we were not in like
yeah.
How it was more than that. It was like 60 per person, and we had like 10 people.
No, not for the no. I'm saying like no one expected and then Matt ended up paying it all. That was the thing.
But yeah, it was
shit like that's annoying. But you got to set those rules beforehand. I think is the rule here. I don't think she's a dick. I think you decline that. By the way, you're totally entitled to decline Venmo requests if they're not legit. And if you didn't if he offered to pay and then reneged on that later, I have a tough time calling her an asshole for that. So.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, putting him on blast though, you're an asshole.
Yeah, I don't think you like that's just the world we live in though. It's gonna happen, but I would agree. I mean, I'm glad she did because I got to see it and have a giggle. But I mean,
Yeah.
Do you think she's an asshole for exposing the guy, Matt, or no?
Did she leave his name in there and stuff? If not, I mean, if she blurred out the name and stuff, I don't
I
fucking
don't
care.
But
I want.
If you're putting him on blast, I think that's also kind of fucking petty. Like you're taking this and you're sharing it with. It's like fucking let it be. Like just you got the upper hand here. You got away with it. You don't need to drag it out to a whole nother level and let your followers go harass this.
You got away with it.
Well, you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
you didn't. There's really no skin off your neck for this. It's like you didn't have to pay anything. You just decline. Yeah, the guy's a dick. Let it be that. Like you just don't have to talk to him again.
Just text your girl group message and then leave it at that. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
I think putting it on social media is close. You said his name was in there?
I said
don't know.
I want to say like you could see like almost like the little picture in his Instagram at kind of thing, but I'm not complete. I don't.
If
don't
there was a way for anybody that had like the little inkling to find out who it was, and you could find out who it was, that's almost just as bad. I mean, I guess like if you don't want to get exposed, don't do that if you're the guy. But like, come on, I hate when like girls try to expose dudes for like doing like that's not that big of a deal. Sending a Venmo request at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. But if he's doing it solely because of like not getting any, like obviously that's like not okay. Like that's a problem. But like I just hate the cancel like expose culture shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you on
Well,
that.
I think a lot of no assholes here today, which is probably a good thing. But I don't know how much time I have left on this thing, so I'm gonna cut this off. I think it said you have 40 minutes or something, or we might have been going longer than that. I don't fucking know how Zoom works, dude.
Yeah,
But thanks for coming on, guys. This was
of course,
fun.
thanks for having us.
We'll do it again, and I'll get some spicier ones next time where it's impossible to not call me an asshole.
Yeah. I'll one up it for next time.
We just had to ease.
I know I
To
got.
ease into this.
Yeah. I don't want to go too far.
All right, we'll see you guys.
All right, we'll see you.
All right, so that's that. Fun stuff. Some interesting stuff there. I mean, no one was the asshole this time, but I said, it's the first time doing it. So first of all, cut us some slack. There's Sebastian Maniscalco again. Oh, what are you doing? You're not an asshole. Horrible impression. But next time we might come with some spicier ones. And I think we probably need some women's opinions on these things. So, hey, if you're a woman listening to the show, first of all, thanks for listening. I'm glad it's not all just dudes. I think it's like 30% of the show that listen are women. So it's actually not a bad percentage. But if you want to be on, let me know. You guys, I don't think I've had a girl on yet, a woman on yet, but would love to have you. We'd love to chat with you. So if you guys want to come on either with that or, just us one-on-one and you want to talk about something, you have some stuff you want to talk about, guys, I'm an open book. I'm open to guests. You've seen this. We're trying to do some new things in here. And I think it'd be fun. So we might end up doing a live segment with that too, where you can actually call in. So stay tuned for that. But that's that. But make sure you guys go over to Victory Lap. Their victorylap.club, I think, is the website. But they also have a really good YouTube channel. That's where all the videos are. I obviously post some clips of their stuff. And then that just reminds me. Share those clips. If you guys like them, share them. I'm not going to grow this fucking thing much more unless, get some help from my people. My little people. You guys are my people. You guys are good people. Really good people. Frankly, some of the best people. And it'd be nice if you could, you wanted to promote the show. Send it to your friends if they like it. Or give it a good review on Apple. Or send your friend the Spotify link. Or whatever the fuck. Anything you can do to support is always helpful. And I don't like begging for it. But it's my birthday. So if you want, you can either send me Venmo money. Or you can just promote the show, and that's a beautiful gift for me. Or you can send me Kohl's Cash. You can send me a Dick's Sporting Goods gift card. You can write a handwritten note saying how I've impacted your life so positively. Any of those things. You want to send me flowers? Send me some flowers. Give me even a can of beans. Anything you could get me is appreciated. But most appreciated would be help promote the show. because it seriously helps. And we're growing a little bit, guys. We're now up to like 334 on Instagram. That's where I'm mainly growing it, is on Instagram. So if you can follow on Instagram, share that page with your people. That's what I'm really trying to grow this thing on. But any listeners we get is great. And we just want people we're just trying to share joy. I'm trying to make people happy here. And I'm sorry if I get so negative. I'm going to end the show on a positive note because I am turning 28 tomorrow. I love you guys. This is a fun thing for me. I hope I'm entertaining you. I hope I'm just brightening your day a little bit. I'm sorry if I get so negative. It's just my venting, the way that I vent. And I like being here and I like talking with y'all. And I like the DMs that I get from you guys and the text messages and the clips that you think are funny and the ones that maybe you disagree with. I love all of that. And I'm happy to be here. It's been 2 years now of doing this show. Not every day. There's only 40-something episodes now, with probably 50 with the ones I haven't released because they turned out a little bad. But I have fun with you guys. And this is a fun outlet for me. And I'm glad I get to do it. And I would like to grow it. I think it'd be fun. And like I said, I'm open to ideas and I'm open to guests. If you guys think I should have someone on the show that you think would be funny to talk to, or just fun or interesting or intellectual, I don't know. We're still forming this thing. So, or if you want to be on the show, hey, just let me know. We'll see. We'll work something out. Okay. I just want everyone to have a good time. I want it to be a genuine, fun time for everyone because that's what it is for me. I just sit here and I shoot the shit with you and it's a good time. So, and we got to get some sponsors on here eventually. I'm just going to start reading fake ads, I think, just until someone starts sponsoring me. But yeah, want to grow this thing. I love you guys. I will see you next week probably. Although we have a long weekend, so I don't know, it might be tough to record, but either way, I'll see you guys soon. I love you very much, and I'll see you later. Bye. Okay, bye. See you later.